the Kingsley Plantation.
Shall we?
I'd love to. Though Jacksonville is a modern city today, it started out as a tiny settlement on a narrow bend of the St. Johns River. Kingsley Plantation is one of the city's ties to its early days. During the 19th century, several different owners and hundreds of enslaved people inhabited this island plantation. And the city grew around them, fed by the profits of the cotton industry. Located in the northeast corner of the state, Jacksonville sits right at the crossroads of the I-95 and the I-10, 140 miles north of Orlando. The plantation site seems to stand frozen in time, preserving a piece of Floridian history and the story of those who worked here.
The Kingsley story spans the second Spanish period, that's the late early 1800s, to the time when Florida became an American territory. And so at Kingsley you get to look at issues of slavery and other social and political issues from two points of view, from the Spanish period and then into the American territorial period. So it's a time of history, especially in Florida, that a lot of people aren't familiar with.
Life in the antebellum South of the early 1800s was tough. In a brutal climate and a task labor system, each slave had to pick up to 90 pounds of Sea Island cotton a day. Plantation owner Zephaniah Kingsley had other properties as well, and spent a lot of his time at sea.
His wife was here most of the time, and life for her was probably a little different. His wife was African. She was a woman he had purchased in slavery and then later freed. And she lived here with their 4 children, and she managed the plantation in his absence. So all of these different perspectives we try to present at the plantation so visitors can kind of see things from the different points of view.
And the home has a lovely view of the nearby river. Since it was cheaper and easier to travel by water in the early days, the Kingsleys had their home built right on the water.
This was an island plantation, so you came and you went by boat. The house, people tend to think because they drive up the length of the island through what were originally fields that they're coming the way you would have approached the plantation historically, but originally you would have come by boat, and the front of the house is the part facing the water, the Fort George River.
The drive up to the plantation follows the original 3-mile, narrow dirt road that was once the back entrance, so take your time. If you have a larger rig, you may even want to park it at one of the nearby campgrounds and take your tow vehicle instead. But we found that a smaller coach handles the trip just fine. Once you arrive, there's plenty of parking, and admission to the grounds is free. But it's hard to put a price on this kind of history lesson.